Well, hopefully that helped keep you guys awake for the start of the morning. I know it pumped us up. So I'm only going to be up here for a few minutes, and I think the video started it, but I'm going to kind of tell you who we are, what Board Meetings is all about. And I thought it'd be important to share with you guys the one simple thing that we're doing that I know you guys can do, that we've used to turn heads in the field of personal development and get us invited to participate in events like Awesomeness Fest, how we met Vision. So I'm going to share that with you guys so that hopefully you can use it with your business. Now, before I get started too, I do want to thank the Mind Valley staff again. You guys came out with us on Wednesday, and I know it was busy before your event started. We had a great time with you guys. It meant a lot to us. And I know you've been saying thank you to us, but from my Board Meetings team, we just want to say thank you back, because we look up to you guys. We believe in what you're doing with personal development. And just your smiles and positive feedback gives us more conviction for what we're doing. So Vision and to the Mind Valley team, thank you again. You guys were so much fun. And I look forward to doing it again. Board Meetings actually started unofficially back in 1979. Because in 1979 at the Joyful Noise Nursery School, at the age of 3, I met my best friend and business partner. And yeah, that's his 4th birthday. So we've known each other for forever and a day. And we grew up together. We went from the Spider-Man birthday parties to the grungy keg parties in college. Those are real pictures. They haven't been enhanced, or they should have been. But we moved away from that, and we had a lot of negative influences around us, and we had our time on the wild side, and we said, that's not really for us. We want to do something. So we separated and got very heavily into personal development and wealth creation, and we moved on to create a very successful business. And this is actually a picture of Brian and I at the Branson dinner, the Richard Branson dinner, which is hosted by our good friend Greg Hatchbrit. I thought it was cool to put this up because it's also the first night that we met Vision. But I can tell you guys, when we first started our business between over 12 years ago, we weren't being invited to Richard Branson dinners. It just wasn't what we were being invited for. In fact, when I first started my business, I woke up every day feeling overwhelmed and frustrated. Every day. And I remember me and Brian saying, it feels like we're drinking out of an open fire hydrant right now. And some of you might be able to remember that. It's not the most comfortable feeling when you're first starting out. But luckily for us, just when we had started our business at an event like this, and nowhere near the caliber of this event, Brian and I met 3 individuals that shared a passion and a love for the ocean and surfing, the same as we did. And they were entrepreneurs as well. And we began to take surf trips together. Now, these individuals were from New Zealand and Australia, so they weren't even from America. So we started to meet up on surf trips, and we began to affectionately call them board meetings, hence the surfboard, the play on words. And at these meetings, we would surf and we would mastermind. We would surf and we would mastermind. We would enjoy the ocean and what it had to offer, and we would get to know the cultures and the environments that we were going into when we traveled all over the world. Now, as Philip said in the video, it became a lot more than surfing. In fact, these became really a source of unshakable support for each of us in the group. And not only did it help us discover our passions, but it helped us develop the mindset to achieve what we wanted to. And I'm happy to say, with the help of this board meeting, they still go on today, over 10 years of them, Brian and I were able to create a multi-million-dollar business that still serves us today and allows me to be here on stage with you guys. And something happens when you're out in the ocean together and you're able to step out of your environment. And I learned about the power of relationships when I was on these things and the importance of them. And something happens outside the classroom that I realized is more powerful, and it's a direction that the personal development arena is moving into. And that's the power of experiential learning, where there's less lectures and there's more roundtable discussions and fun activities. And then there's also less time in the classroom and more time outside in inspiring environments. And when that happens, big things can happen. Breakthroughs happen. And that was the main responsibility for the success that we've had. So we began to share our board meetings with other people. And we brought in other entrepreneurs. And then we even started to develop more relationships and see the power of them. And we brought our own family in. My father started surfing at the age of 70. Here's Brian's mother on her 70th birthday. And probably the thing that's brought us to the absolute height of what board meetings has become from us is the parent-child relationship. When we started working with parents and kids, especially entrepreneurs and their kids, we knew we had found our home. That is where our passion lies. And it wasn't by mistake. What happened was, when Brian and I started to have success with our business, we were getting invited back to speak at different wealth creation and personal development events. And I would naturally have to speak about our board meetings, because this is what was making the difference for me. This was my mastermind group. And the way that we were doing it, so different than everyone else. It intrigued people. And without fail, every time, didn't matter if I was in America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, I would have people come up to me and say the same thing. I wish my kid had been here to hear that. I wish my child had been here to hear that. And it started to really get to me, and Brian and I started to look more into it. And there was just a great need that people wanted to connect with their children more. And they weren't. There were a lot of people that were financially successful, and they were disconnected from their children. And it's happening all the time. And we didn't want to see it happen. We kept researching and getting more feedback. And then finally, I sat in a room. I was invited into a room of successful business owners. And they all shared two things in common. One, they were all successful. Two, every single one of their child had a drug addiction. And I sat there and I listened. And I wrote down one line, just one line, when I came out of that 3-hour session. And that is, there is no substitute for quality time. Especially money. So I found my passion and Brian found his passion, and we began to bring other people in. We invited our friend Philip McKernan and Greg and Karush. And we said, we're on to something here. The industry is lacking this. There are camps where you can send kids away. And there's events where you can go and you can learn to be a better person to go home to your kids. But doesn't it make more sense that you experience it together? How hard is it for any of you to go home and explain what's going to happen here this week? How many of you think that you could have learned something at the age of 12 that would have served you, like the things we've been learning this weekend? Any of you? How many of you have children out here? How many of you would say either the number one or the number two reason that you're here is because of them? And the industry is lacking. We've missed it. We're not answering the call. So this is an opportunity not for us in our board meetings only, but for you as well. I'm telling you, after 10 years of research and sitting down and masterminding with some of the top people in the industry, there is a need for parents and kids to be brought together. And it cannot be done in the classroom. You cannot lecture their way through. They cannot understand the environment by sitting there and watching YouTube videos and seeing a PowerPoint. That's a start. But is there anything more powerful than actually bringing them out to the beach where the turtles actually nest and show them the beauty and the fragility of it? Nothing replaces experiential learning. Nothing. And every time I come to an event, this need for parent-child relationships and doing it in a fun way, because once you get people laughing, you can teach them anything. We took out the Mind Valley staff. These are the people that are the most successful in the world at personal development, and we got them laughing. Do you guys know that there's only been one standing ovation? One standing ovation during a speech this weekend. Does anyone remember when that was? It was during Lisa Nichols' speech when she acknowledged her grandmother. In the middle of the speech, the only speech, and there's been tons of powerful moments here, but that's when everyone stood on their feet and applauded in the middle of the talk. And I always watched the audience very closely, and I was sitting right back there. And me included, as happy as we were for Lisa, every single one of us wanted that. We all wanted to acknowledge the people that have helped us. And all of you parents out there, I know, had the feeling deep down, I hope my child will want to do that for me someday. It's very powerful. It's very powerful. And when you find your passion, and as Vision has talked about, giving back and contributing, I couldn't find any better way in our life, and we refused to grow our other business. I'm not even going to talk about it on stage because it's not our passion. That's why we turned and went completely into the board meetings for parents and children, because we've seen the results. We've seen them be able to step out of their environment where there's not a fire hydrant of information getting thrown at them, where they actually have time to disconnect or reconnect. And what better place to do it out in a beautiful oceanfront environment? Now that's my passion and that's my grounds, but it seems to be a lot of other people's too. And it's very interesting. I wanted to share with you guys, how am I on stage? How did we get here? How did we become a part of Awesomeness Fest? As Vishen said, it takes a lot to be able to get on the stage and be able to be a part of it. There's one thing that we did, and you'll want to write this down because it's very powerful, because I sat there and spoke with Brian and Craig and Carlo and Philip and Pauline and Karush and Greg. I said, what did we do? I had to really track back what we did. And we get teased a lot that Brian and I are very simple guys. You will not see me up here teaching you about internet marketing. I think everyone would walk out of the room because I'm not even allowed to touch the computers in our office sometimes. But there's one powerful thing that we did to be able to form a relationship with Mind Valley and other people to support us. And we gave them the chance to experience our passion, and then we backed off. How many of you are wanting to form a business around your passion and give back? To start out, share your passion. Let the people experience it. Let them get a feel of who you really are. And then back off. Now that goes against everything that we've always been taught, but let me tell you exactly how that worked. A year ago, I was in Costa Rica, in a beautiful area called Hacienda Pinelas. I was on a board meeting. We were actually meeting at the place that we host our parent-child retreats. And Jamie in our office, who heads up all of our logistics for board meetings and is one of our partners, said, "Did you know that Awesomeness Fest is a half-mile down the road?" Now, I had known Awesomeness Fest was coming to Costa Rica, but I thought it was in a different area. So I naturally said, okay, I want to call my friend Greg Hatstrick, see if he's here. I hadn't talked to Greg in a few weeks, so I called Greg. I said, "Are you down in Costa Rica right now?" He said, "No, I couldn't speak at Awesomeness Fest. I was at a different event, and so he couldn't make it." So bottom line, he said, "You need to get in touch with Vishen. I mean, everything you guys do with experiential learning and the parents and child, that's what Mind Valley's all about. You need to get in touch with him. You guys have already met." I said, "Well, what do you want me to do? He's running an event. I know I've run events. That's a lot of work. You know, they have a lot going on." And Greg, being the good friend that he is, he said, "Tell you what, you decide what you want to do. I'll help you however you want." So I remember I hung up the phone and thought it over and sat down with my board group. And of course, the red fire entrepreneur would think, okay, here's a guy with a big company, personal development, perfect for what we do. You want to start throwing business plans at him and writing a 12-page report on the 7 secrets of surfing and how it, we've all heard those ones, right? But I thought about it and I meditated on it and I came up with a simple solution. I just called Greg back and I said, "Tell Vishen we'll take him out surfing." That was it. And I told everyone on our team, I said, "Look, we've met Vishen before. I like what Mind Valley does. We're going to take him out surfing. I don't want to talk about, I'll tell him about board meetings, maybe mention it. We're not going to push a business plan on him. We're not going to do any of that kind of stuff. We're just going to share our passion. And if he enjoys it, great. And if he doesn't, well, we got to surf for the day." And that's our passion anyway. We took out the Mind Valley staff, and they had an absolute blast. And I got notes weeks and weeks after from the staff and from Vishen how it calmed them down, it brought them better together as a team, and prepared them for Awesomeness Fest. I didn't even speak to Vishen again. We sent each other a Facebook message. A few months later, about 6 months later, we met up again in Denver. Now at that time, he said, "How are you guys? We had a great time." And then we finally set up a Skype call. And after 6 months, after taking them out on our passion, that's the first time I ever told him what board meetings was all about the parent-child retreats. And I'll never forget, the phone went silent after I had explained how we're trying to bring kids and parents back together. how to get them to have a deep and more meaningful relationship in a fun way, out in the environment, so we can experience all these lessons. The phone went quiet, and Vishen said to me, wow, I wish my son was older, because I'm going to be one of your clients. Now, let me ask you guys something. If I had not just wanted to share my passion open and freely without strings attached, do you think that would have happened? Do you think I would have been invited back? See, marketing has its needs and its causes, and I know that. But all of you laughed when I said, would it have been appropriate for me to rush in as he's trying to run a big event and throw a 12-page report on the 7 secrets of surfing with experiential learning? It would have gone right into the trash, right? Give people the chance to experience who you are, what you're really about. That's what will sell. That's when people will want to be a part of you. Does that make sense? Good. I'm going to bring up my best friend and business partner. Is he in the room? Oh, this is Brian, my best friend and business partner. I just wanted to bring him up to acknowledge him. So, again, true to the word of what we said is that we are not marketing geniuses, but we're very good at building relationships and we're very good at service. And that's been told to us by some very important people in our life. That's why our friend Craig Chandler and parent-child client came all the way from Australia. That's why our entrepreneur friend Carlo came from Toronto. Philip and Pauline, and Jamie and Ted. Ted, who was chasing around the Mind Valley crew for all day with a helmet cam on. So it's all about relationships. Share your passion. And Brian's just going to tell you, you guys are going to have the chance to come out with us and see what it's all about, because it's a lot more than the surfing. It's the space that's created. And it's the chance to actually disconnect or reconnect. And I've found no better teacher than the ocean. So with that, Brian, if you just want to tell them about the Monday logistics, that'd be great.
Yeah, and first I just want to start by thanking again, obviously, Vishen and his team. Do these guys throw a kick-ass party or what? I mean, we've been to a lot of events around the world, both in the seat and on stage, and I've never been to experience something like this, so hats off to you guys. And I also want to acknowledge everybody in the crowd for taking the time to invest in yourselves. There's no more important asset than yourself, and you guys taking the time to fall in love with yourself here for a few days and just invest in yourself. So I want to honor you guys and ask you guys to give yourselves a round of applause. So Jim shared our story, and I guess you guys could probably get your heads around this, because I saw a lot of hands go up when you said who's a parent in here. How humbling and rewarding it is for us to be able to provide that space for the parent-child. I mean, there's nothing that could possibly replace watching a father and a son, or a mother and whatever that gender relationship looks like, coming together, connecting, and just deepening that relationship. It's something that's just so rewarding for us and humbling. So again, we're honored to be here, and I just wanted to take 2 seconds. I'm not technical either. As Jim said, we have Ted and Jamie on our team, thank God. But we just wanted to share with you, they're going to be passing out these little, these are called Microsoft tag readers. Is anybody familiar with them? So it's new in technology. Jim and I are not technological, but I can't even say the word. But I know everybody in here probably has a smartphone. People have smartphones? So just go to your app store, download Microsoft Tag Reader. We're going to be passing these out, and this will allow you to take a look at the videos and some of the marketing that we're doing. This isn't about us, guys. This is for you guys to see how powerful it is for you to take home and use in your business. You can put these things on your business cards, t-shirts, any marketing you want to do, and it links you to a video that you can share your message with the world. So just wanted to share that with you, and Jamie will be passing these out. Just quick to wrap up, we are going to take some of you guys out on Monday who are still going to be here. Jamie's going to be in the back. She's the cute little blonde. Raise your hand, Jamie. She is going to be back there with a sign-up sheet for anybody that wants to come surfing with us on Monday, and we'd love to have you. Vishen and the staff had a blast on Wednesday, so please come join us. Thanks, guys.
Give a big round of applause to Brian and Jim.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Seriously, the surfing trip was amazing. You saw how happy I looked in that video.